6 plus size people. There's one fake.
The Creator Launchpad.
Does everyone here wear jeans? Like
Yeah.
Where do you guys buy your jeans from?
That honestly depends. I've had some luck. I mean, I present more masculine, so a lot of the times I will like resource to Old Navy. I'll just kind of go there and like get one of the bigger pairs. I actually did just get a pair from Old Navy like a couple weeks ago, and I love it, but it's a little big in the waist, so I do have to take it in. I'm probably gonna tailor it though. So, but I do love Old Navy's jeans, especially their men's section.
I don't
Chat.
really wear jeans,
This is different, chat. These are plus size people, not plus size models, right?
but I think the only 2 pairs that I own are from Shein.
I feel like it depends what style I'm going for.
True.
Like for fitted jeans, I definitely think like
It's all
Good
in volume.
American is my go-to. Obviously, they're like on the higher end of like pricing wise, but they like make my ass look great.
Well, that's the thing. Also, like getting the confidence to actually wear what you want, it took me forever. So when I actually did, I'm still in the mentality when I was like 16, 17 and I could fit in a medium. So I'm like, oh.
All right, listen. I'm gonna say nothing. I'm gonna say, what I heard was there was a cap in there somewhere. There was a cap. Because in this entire video, 1 minute and 15, there's one cap.
Oh, I can't go to the
There is
same
a
stores.
singular
Like,
one.
I can't go to a mall and buy clothes anymore.
I would say 2 years ago, I would go to like Goodwills and Value Villages, but that has become a lot harder as of late.
The reason that I chose to do this was mainly because it meant a lot to me to share the idea of like, as you transition away from being in a bigger body to potentially being in a skinnier body, that is not something that like makes you harder working or better at like achieving some sort of goal than the other person or another person that you may see in a plus size body. And going into it, I like promised myself I wasn't gonna tell any lies. I was gonna be very truthful and speak on every kind of experience.
I think it's cool to be humble. I think it's very important to like. I think when you do certain things that everyone's struggling with, it's cool to like level out with them. At the same time, I think I can't. Even though I'm in the position to talk about this, of course, but I still want to have a take. It does. I don't agree with this take. Well, I don't agree with this take.
Experience that I had myself, I wasn't going to tell any lie the other person or another person that you may see in a plus size body. And going into it, I like promised myself I wasn't going to tell any lies. I was going to be very truthful and speak on every kind of experience that I had leading up to today.
Well,
I wanted
doing
to
has
make
a lot
sure
of
that what I
values.
was saying was stuff
I don't
that I
know.
lived through. I think putting on a character would be disrespectful to the other people that were here today.
I just thrift most of my clothing, and like I have a tailor for my pants anyway.
Shout
like
out
back
to the
in,
tailors.
yeah, 100%. Especially when I'm back home. I'm 15 minutes outside of New York City, so I usually just commute in there. There's this one thrift store, I don't know if anybody's been, called the L Train, and like that is really good for carrying bigger sizes. Back in my actual hometown, I can go to my tailor very easily. It's like a 5-minute drive from my house.
Okay.
So I thrift probably 90% of my clothing, cheaper, saves energy, and like it feels way easier.
There is no way he's gonna go pay like $15 for jeans, then go pay $45. Like, I get it, as a plus size person, tailoring for some things, great. But I could not believe for a second that he is tailoring every set. And I was like, he is not fat anymore.
Not gonna lie, I shop at Ross a lot or Marshalls. And finding jeans is hard. It's a hit or miss. Sometimes at Ross they'll have bigger sizes, sometimes they don't. But if it
Jeans
says
are
stretch,
shit.
then I'm usually good on it.
I actually didn't even share where I got my jeans from. I realized that. I usually shop at like American Eagle. Jeans in general are like a struggle to find. Either they fit your thighs and they don't fit your waist, or they fit your waist and it's a struggle.
Yeah, jeans are trash. I don't like them. I don't think jeans are good. Not anymore, anyway. Really? Why him?
Man. I did feel, I guess, invalidated in a point because they were talking about, brands and, and stuff that I can't really afford. So I thought my answer of, I shop at Ross because that's what I could afford, I thought that's what kind of eliminated me.
So I was gonna say, if any of you guys did any form of like performance as a kid, I know we were talking about how some of us were models before, sorry about names, but how that affected you growing up and how like the idea of performing and being on stage was definitely more difficult for you than your peers.
That is an awesome question.
Well, you start since there.
Yeah. So I was on the math team for my elementary school, which was like very fun and I enjoyed it a lot. But before our first meet, when we were doing practices and such, they gave us the vest sizes. And I remember putting on the largest vest size that they had and it clinging to my skin and making me very uncomfortable. And I walked into the bathroom and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I can't do this, and I quit. And it really frustrated me that I let that take away something that meant a lot to me. That was definitely like my first experience with like, it is very difficult for me that outside elements are going to take who I am and make that a form of a problem.
As a woman in a plus size theater community, it's like, I always got the funny roles or the really unattractive roles. And I'm like, I'm big, that doesn't mean I'm hilarious. Like,
girl, we could talk about this forever.
Yeah, so that's super powerful because performing and becoming into yourself, you either have to be overly confident and fake it till you make it, or it will tear you down. So I'm very sorry that that happened to you.
How do we all identify? Do we identify, like, what do we use to label?
Yeah, I guess I think it's like a part cultural thing, right? It's like, dude. It's like when you watch a cartoon, right? And there's like a fat kid, and then the bully comes in and he kicks the fat kid. What happens with the fat kid? Well, he rolls, right? That's funny. Okay, there's a lot of funny elements in culture and in things like that are like funny. People think about, that's just how it is. It rolls. It's funny. Like what? Or they bounce. Like I don't know.
Ourselves.
I'm saying, oh, that's funny, lol. That's funny to me. Well, okay. But like I said, whether you agree with me or not, I'm not saying that I think it's funny. Even though maybe I think it's funny or not, I'm not saying it. I'm saying that it's what society finds funny. It's why these shows and these skits work, and what they've worked for years. Okay. So why a lot of jokes are like about the fat kid, right? So somebody being fat kidded, right? It's just kind of how it is. Like you're not gonna fight what society thinks is funny. Like, and of course,
if you have one.
P-H-A-T. Thank you.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling about that one for some reason.
Really?
I like just normal.
Yeah.
Because I'll say fat, and then people will be like, "Oh my God, fat!" And then I'll be like, "It's not inherently a bad word. It's an adjective."
That's the thing. No, but
time.
it is kind of taboo because I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm fat." Don't say that. You're beautiful. I am gorgeous, but I am fat.
I didn't say I was ugly.
It's oh my God,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm sorry, I misspoke.
I was
People
like,
treat it like it's
right,
taboo, and
right.
that's
So
the issue, really.
it's two truths. I'm like,
Exactly, yeah.
I feel beautiful, but I am fat. Being fat or plus size does not mean that we're not active.
Let's name a group of people because they're fat. That's what I'm saying though. I wish you didn't. I wish you didn't take it like that. I wish it is that for certain roles of like funny, right? They'll find it easier fit. Doesn't mean that they're locked into being that, right? But like, dude, of course you're gonna have less roles like being the fucking superhero Chad muscle guy. Like, brother, like what?
That we're not nice people, that we're not worthy. It really sucks when people treat you differently because you're a size 18 rather than a size 2 or 4.
When I, like, for example, great example, I went Halloween shopping, and it's really hard because, like, first and foremost, trying to find the plus size costumes, they're like, oh, it's just kind of integrated everywhere. And it's like, realistically, you have 200 costumes here, but only like 10 are for plus size. Then I go on to the other costumes, and I was like, oh, my choice is to be like a duck or the plus size nun costume covered boobs, knees, everything, but the skinny costume for the other nun was like tits out for Harambe. And I'm like, so I literally like my choice is like be a bubble bath or a duck, and I'm like I need a plus size section when I walk into somewhere because we have not progressed in human society.
There was this brand that had this big campaign saying they were launching extended sizes, and then it came out and it was like completely different than the straight sizes, and I'm like, we are just asking for the same thing.
Why do they get cocktail dresses and I get
literally
Wait.
Nuts. I miss them, Mr. Cat.
What?
I miss them so much.
What
went wrong?
Jeez, did it wait till they hear the fucking ground shaking?
Oh my God.
Your bonkers chat Yellowstone, Willy Rob.
They will know that they lost them.
I'm psychic. I know. One of you was on to something.
If you think the mole
What? What are those guys?
is still in the box,
Oh my God,
and you
okay,
wish to
I'm
continue
never
playing
doing
the
it in my
game,
life.
please raise your hand.
I am never talking in my life then. Fuck it. Fuck these videos then. Fuck it. I'm done. There's a difference, okay? If you're sitting next, like what the fuck?
I think the odd one out is probably somebody who.
Guys, if I'm in a house, somebody wakes up upstairs and they go out of bed and they jump out of bed, right? Okay? And they weigh 50 pounds. Is there gonna be a difference in how it's gonna feel in the house if somebody's weighing 50 pounds? One is gonna go, boom, Then they go boom, bang, bang. Like, what the fuck? Of course. Like, what?
Lived as a fat person, but lost the weight. But usually, a lot of the times, people that do grow up fat or go through weight loss journeys,
it's
end
physics.
Up
like, what the fuck?
That's not in all cases. It's not in all cases, but it does happen a lot.
Turning in on that, like, I really do think that in my personal experience, people that go from being in a bigger body into like becoming skinny feel some sort of resentment, especially because I think they tie achievement to what they've done for some reason. Like there's this very big principle of like, look at what I've done, and they push this like American dream-esque mentality of like genuinely like I worked hard and I did this. It's like, well, not everybody wants to do that.
And like, that's fine. Like, that's fine. If you want to lose weight, do that, but you don't need to like project that onto everyone else. And I would think if you were somebody who lived that experience as a fat person, you would understand.
Honestly, dating, I've met many guys who were like, I used to be big, so I understand that being smaller is more desirable, and it's just like this conversation just rubs me the wrong way because I've been met with so many people who think like that, and like the worst person I dated was very fat phobic, and they used to be bigger and they lost weight, and they were.
So I understand that the conversation might be rubbing her the wrong way, and it's fucking trash, and I'm sorry that she feels that way, right? But unfortunately, you can't really get mad at somebody for thinking that way, or one person feel that way, right? It's what society thinks as a whole. It is literally, it's an idea that society literally agrees on. Everybody agrees with that. I'm just want to say everybody, it's maybe not you, Chad. There's an overall, as society, when they think of that, they think, chat, boom, let's have an average attractive person, right? Right? Well, you know, they will be of a certain size. That's just what it is. Right? That is flat out what it is.
Or like shaming me about my body, being like, you know, we'd have better sex if you were smaller and all that shit. Like, oh my god.
No, 100, and it's the connotation, right? Like, because they like quote. Sorry, I was gonna throw up air quotes, but we all blindfolded. Because they like put in the work. That part being in air quotes, and like became into a skinnier body. All of a sudden, there's this idea like you aren't working as hard. But again, not everybody wants to work that hard.
Exactly. Can we also go down the line and maybe just say if we have been fat or plus size most of our life, or if
actually that's great, because I wanted to say for me it was a little bit different. Growing in South America, there isn't a lot of overweight people, obese people, and I've always been curvy, so to speak, and I was fine, but I was still like, you know how they say I spent my skinny years thinking I was fat? So I moved to the US when I was 16. And I started gaining weight. You know, the life here is different. I wasn't as active. I wasn't doing sports anymore. And then I was on birth control. So for me, it was hormonal imbalance that made me gain a lot of weight. But it really sucked. And, you know, in my own skin, I'm going to start crying. I'm sorry. You know, like being skinny and like now you're fat and like everybody treats you different.
I think it's difficult too because, you know, I grew up fat. I've been fat my entire life, and I've always envied, in a way, like I've always wondered what it would be like to live in a thin body and have people treat you differently. Like I've dreamt about it, and I think that is really difficult when you exactly. I understand what you're saying. Like you've lived both, and it's hard because, you know, from people who haven't, it's just you don't even fathom.
Speaking into the whole spinning your skinny.
See, look, this is it. You just adhere to mainstream beauty standards, don't project that. Dude, I'm not projecting it. You just said it. These are mainstream beauty standards. I'm not projecting. I'm telling you that a mainstream beauty standards is a mainstream beauty standard. How am I projecting it? I'm acknowledging it, that it exists. Like, do you understand what you're saying? You're so dumb. Dude, so brain dead. Like, what?
Years feeling like you're fat. I definitely relate to that. I'm a bulimia survivor. I was bulimic for about 8 years, and I also played volleyball, and it was in theater and stuff like that. And the only reason I
take 1,000 random Americans, we'll use Americans, and say draw on paper what you think is an attractive woman or guy, right? What are they gonna draw? Right? Come on. Is the shape gonna be more like this or that?
I stopped throwing up and binging and purging is because I was losing my voice, and I love to sing, and I got nodes.
No, that's the worst. Shit. Oh my God.
I went from mezzo soprano to mezzo alto.
Are we all crying now?
Pretty much. But
you're saying these are Western standards when the West is probably the fattest. What? That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, like if it didn't affect my voice, I don't know if I would have stopped.
It really broke my heart after, you know, having to vote people out who, in my heart, I knew were fat. To just feel invalidated, that sucks. That really sucks.
And this guy's clapping them. Jesus.
What? Because I wasn't crying. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh,
so the
come
eliminations
on.
is something that we're wrestling with. Do you feel like it took away from the experience?
It was just like being in the space where we were sharing our stories and everything felt so heartfelt, but it's just a game. But overall, it was really awesome to be in the space and have these conversations that don't happen often if you don't have fat friends to talk about them with. As someone who grew up very self-conscious and didn't know where to look and turn to see people like me, I take that on as an adult to speak about these things and have these conversations that we're still confused about.
If you think the mole is still in the box and you wish to continue playing the game, please raise your hand.
I swear to God, if anyone's lying, oh my God, I'm so pissed.
If the lights turn green, that means you have voted the mole out and you win. If the lights turn red, that means the mole is still in the box and you lose. 1, 2, 3.
Oh no,
we lost.
On the count of 3, everyone can take off their blindfolds. 1, 2, 3.
I knew it.
Wow.
No, they did not.
Heartfelt story about dating someone fat phobic. You guys voted me.
Okay, can we talk about 1,000,001 reasons why it was Derek?
Okay, the only one that got me was like the theater. Like I really could relate with that. So I obviously know that
No.
you felt like you really were through that.
That's
right. I think that was true.
No, it was true. That's what I'm saying.
That's an important thing. Nothing. There is not a single. Yeah. So when I was in 4th grade, I was 4 feet tall. I was 144 pounds. And my doctor told me that I was morbidly obese, and it was a very like self-image wrecking thing for me because he used language that made it seem like I needed to change as opposed to just assessing where I was. Like I said, everything that I talked about before was true, but when we were talking about people being incredibly fat phobic that go through a transition of being in a bigger body and then ending up.
In 5th grade, what I would do, he was so muscular, okay? We'd play King of the Hill, okay? And I'm not kidding, Okay, guys, you guys might think that it's bullying, right? But he liked that. We would play like 6v1, right? It was either us on the hill or him. And he was fucking buff as fuck as a 5th grader. And sometimes, okay, we would jump on him. And there would be 3 of us towered on him like patties on a burger, right? And he would go, and he would climb the hill with us on his back like in the movies. It was insane, dude. I'm not kidding you.
The quote-unquote skinnier.
It was buff as fuck.
That experience for me was I mistook the pain that came with not having self-love as being associated with a number on a scale. And as I kept moving the goalposts further and further away from myself and saying, like, this will be when I'm happy with myself, and this will be the time in my life where I like the way I look. And once I do this, I'll be happy with myself. I was no happier than when I started. I just kept being further and further from a goal that I was changing. I am happy not because of the way that my body looks, but because I can have self-acceptance, and that's a very difficult journey for anybody to go on, and me losing any form of weight played no factor in that. I hope that in watching this video, somebody can learn that the horrible stereotype that they have of plus-size people, whether that be that they're lazy or sluggish or they don't eat right or they're not healthy, there are people that are plus-size that are faster than you. There are people that are plus-size that are in better conditions than the average human being. I was definitely plus-sized for a long period of my life, and I still feel the residuals of like the way people treat you for being in a plus-size body, like to this day.
This is the first time.
It's true, but I feel like using data outliers as the main drive for arguments is not the way to go about it. But I still agree.
I'm hearing a lot of these things because at least for me growing up, it wasn't like being bullied or anything like that. It was just like my own mind attacking myself, like seeing in the mirror and be like, oh my God, you're fat. You need to lose weight. Outside of that, like I didn't experience like the bullying and name calling. I didn't see any of that.
Going
so
to XQC
like hearing you
for
guys
takes
like
about
that's
obesity
a lot.
is like going to Beyonce for camera expertise.
like how I had an eating disorder when I was younger and how I overcame that. And then I slowly started drifting back to it.
That makes sense at all.
And I'm trying to lose weight now in a more healthy manner. So I wish I could have told that story to the group.
I'm sorry to anybody that shared something personal and then like because of this feels like they were lied to or abused. Like I came into the game with the idea of just having fun, and I promised myself like I'm not gonna lie a single time that when I speak. It's like I didn't want to like come in here and build a character.
I hope people who watch this video, no matter what size you are, I think it's important that we're just kind to people and treat everyone with respect.
I hope everybody just takes away like empathy. You never know what someone's going through. You never know why someone's plus size. I don't know